You're always.
We're live.
We are live.
We're live.
Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled Finance Committee meeting. Hello, we're live. Welcome, Council Trimble, to the regularly scheduled Finance Committee meeting. Voting members, we have Councillor Pelletier, Councillor Leonard, Councillor Sprague, and myself. Councillor Gavitt is not here yet. She may be joining us. So, and we have Director. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Are you ready to take it?
Sure.
All right, bids and purchasing.
So our first item tonight is transit technology for the community connector. This is been a ongoing project for a number of years to try to put something into place to move away from our manual process of trying to track riders and data and routes and try to improve rider experience. So this is to put in system-wide technological, there we go, enhancements to improve all of those services. We did go out to bid back in 2022. We received two responses, one from Strategic Mapping and one from Passio Technologies. Strategic Mapping was at 1.2 million, but they did not include all requested information, so therefore they were not considered a responsive bidder. Passio Technology was the low bidder at $535,714. They included everything that we requested. Our community connector has had some severe staffing shortages over the past couple of years, so that has delayed this project. But we got to a point now where we could move forward. We reached back out to them for updated costs. They provided a new cost of $578,273. Wasn't too bad of an increase. They are not on the BARD list, which is required for the use of federal funds. The project is expected to take 18 to 24 months, but it'll put in a good core system for us to use that we can then add additional modules to as we move forward in future years. So we would like to move forward with awarding a contract to Passio Technologies for $578,273. This is going to be a combination of federal funds, local funds, and some carry forward monies. And part of it is reprogramming or moving around the roof replacement project for the bus barn. That the roof did not, because we have a new project to actually build a new bus barn, we didn't fix the roof. So we're going to use that money, a portion of that money to cover the remaining costs. So it's $391,000 in federal funds, $97,000 in local share, $95,000 of carry forward, and that includes $53,000 of moving from the roof project. So with approval tonight, this will be on full council next week for approval to do a contract with Passio.
Any questions, comments?
I'll move staff recommendation and I have a comment, a question.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and you have a question?
Dave, other than Passio being the only bidder who qualified, do you know if anybody has talked with any other municipality that uses their technology to confirm that it works in the way intended?
I'm going to refer to Lori, who's going to connect, maybe, or to Courtney.
Hi, Courtney O'Donnell, Assistant City Manager. Lori Linscott, Bus Superintendent, is on via Zoom, but I know for a fact that she has talked with many other transit agencies that have experience with Passio. In fact, that's their focus is transit. So the answer to your question is yes.
Okay. That's all I want to know.
Okay.
And
I'm so sorry. After this item, if you can pause for a minute, I have to switch the live stream real quick.
Okay.
I made an error, but I'm gonna fix it. Thank you.
any questions? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to move this forward to council next Monday.
Thank
There's
you.
no objections. On it goes. Okay, item 2, sidewalk.
So our second item is a sidewalk tractor for Public Works. This was discussed briefly at the ARPA meeting and the committee at the time decided to allocate 200,000, actually 400,000 from the ARPA funds to buy some sidewalk tractors for Public Works. We found one that was in stock that was available at this time, which is what this request is for. That is from HP Fairfield. This is a trackless MT7 with a four-wheel drive conversion, a plow, a sander, a snow blower, 2 spare wheels and tires, and a 3-year warranty. The price is $199,865, which will be funded with ARP funding. So we'd like to move forward with that purchase, and the other sidewalk tractor we're going to go out to bid for.
Move staff recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, questions, comments? Seeing none, no objections, that will go. Council.
It will not go to council. 'Cause
Oh, no,
under
it
the new
doesn't.
limits.
That's right. New limits.
We're good. Thank you.
All right.
Our third item is for intersection improvements at State Street and Forest Avenue. We did go out to bid, received 2 bids for that improvement. That is removing the traffic signal, installing new pedestrian beacons and sidewalk bump outs. The 2 bids, one was from Daigle Electric for $168,000, and one was from Fraser Signals for $99,976. Even though Fraser is relatively new, they are located in VZ. Staff from Engineering and Public Works has worked with many of the employees who work for Fraser Signals, and they're confident that they can complete the project in a successful manner. So we would like to move forward with the low bidder, Fraser Signals, for $99,976.
With staff recommendations.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, Council Pelletier?
My question is not about this specifically, but just a request from engineering to give us an update on the Buck Street traffic study that they did last month or the month before at some point. Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Seeing none? That's the good to go.
Thank you. And our last item under bids and purchasing is for the Village Partnership Initiative. And in June of this year, Bangor received a technical and price proposals on the scope of the project, which is preliminary design, roadway, intersection, sidewalks, bicycle, landscape improvements to the downtown, including the Kenduskeag East and Kenduskeag West plazas. And the final product of this work will be a planning document be used by Maine DOT for grant applications to basically fund most of the work, hopefully. And we received proposals from Stantec, Royal Palmer, and James Sewell Company. There was a selection committee from our engineering department, planning department, Maine DOT, and BACS to review the proposals. Under the DOT and the FHWA proposals, policies, the proposals are reviewed for work as opposed to price. So until they selected the firm, they didn't open it up to see what it would cost. Once they decided that they picked James Sewell Company as the contractor that they felt could be the best suited for the project, they opened it up. The project is $182,604, which falls within the fiscal year 24 budget that was allocated for the project. And we also have a contract with Maine DOT for funding the project. The DOT's portion is $75,000 and the city share being $107,000. So now now that we have the funding, it is within our budget. We would like to move forward with a contract with the James Sewell Company to move this project forward.
Move staff recommendation.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, questions? Objections? Seeing none, I guess we'll move forward.
Thank you.
Before we go to the next item, I was remiss, sorry, Council Chair Fournier, I did not say you were at the table. I'm sure
I'm not.
the viewers. Okay, item 2.
So our last item is regarding the City Hall renovations and relocation. So staff has been in discussions with Penquist Cap to utilize space in their building just down the street here on Harlow Street. They have available space in the lower half back of the building. We're looking at about 13,000 square feet to house all of the employees within City Hall. That may there's a few that are going to other locations, but the bulk of us will be there. And so we've been discussing with them. We'd like to move forward with some other pieces because there's a lot of parts that need to get done in order for us to get moved. So what we were looking for tonight is approval from the committee for staff to move forward with negotiating that lease in a final form that will be approved by the city manager and the city attorney. And that way we can get started on some other stuff. But essentially, we're looking at about 13,000 square feet of office space. Customer counter will be built for the treasury and the clerk's office for waiting on customers. There'll be another counter built for code and assessing because they're a little less customer driven, and office space for everyone else. There's also a large meeting room, which will serve as a substitute city council chambers and committee meeting room while we're there. We're looking at approximately a 2-year lease. We're hoping that with a out, if the renovations, which are expected to take 18 months, finish early, then we'll cancel the lease and move back as we can. It will take us some time to get everybody out. The plan, though, would be that if it is approved and we can negotiate it or at least fairly soon, we would be looking at moving over the next month and getting everybody out as quickly as possible. Yes. Depending on when we get the signed lease, because they have to do some maneuvering
That's
as
true.
well and do some renovations to the building. But the sooner we can get out for the contractors, the better. Before the cold season hits, they can start doing some of the preliminary work and then work all through the winter. And hopefully we'll stay on track with our 18-month timeframe. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for approval to move forward with those negotiations in a final approval for the city manager and the city attorney.
With the observation that this space was originally housed the Mammoth Mart, I would move to accept staff.
Second, but I have a question.
Okay, second, and your question?
My question is, if the space will be made accessible to the extent possible. How are we evaluating the accessibility of that location?
You mean for the public? We'll make sure that the entryway, the same as City Hall, is ADA compliant, handicap ramps, which I think is already there on the main entrance. And then for the most part, the public will be limited to a certain area for really the waiting, the counter, essentially like the treasury clerk's office. And then if they need to see other staff, those staff will be contacted and they'll come out and escort them back to the offices. So it's a little bit limited as far as where the office space is, so that people just aren't walking freely, because some staff will be in an open area and others will be in, because there's not enough offices, obviously, for everyone. The proposed room that we will use for the council chambers and the committee meetings is accessible through a different entry. So we can limit those, and there'll be a separate entry for those nights that we have the meeting, and they'll be able to go directly into that room for the meetings. So we're going to obviously do what we can to make sure that there's appropriate entrances and exits and emergency exits for everybody, which Penquist has now, and we'll do whatever we need to do to modify those for any ADA capabilities. We'll do that. We'll all be on one floor, so there'll be no elevator or stairs that anybody needs to navigate other than in and out of the building.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Then moved and seconded, or no objections? Proceed with your case discussions.
Thank you.
Do we have anything else?
That's all I have.
All right, yes, Councilor Spur.
I'll just mention this so we can put it on the upcoming items list.
Mhm.
I don't want to lose off the table the ongoing periodic reporting of the city's financial status that we began. I believe the last report was through the end of May. I know we closed out the year at the end of June, but here it is, July, August, September, October, before we'll get back to it in November. And I think 5.5 months after the close of the year is a long time before we have that periodic statement of where we stand. So I think council needs to get back to that.
Any other comments? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Stay tuned. Government ops is coming up next. Thank you.